Hello to all of you, my students in the 7th grade. Today we are going to start with the word focus in Students Book, page 81. So please prepare your books and be ready for our class. The outcomes of our lesson today, students should be able to recognize some prefixes and the meanings of them. What are homophones? Recognize some words that have the sound sh, and do students' book exercises and workbook exercises. Now let's start with the first topic in our class for today. This is about the prefixes. Let's revise. What do you mean about prefixes? Prefixes are the letters that added at the beginning of the word. أي إضافات أو أي حروف بضيفها قبل الكلمة أو ببداية الكلمة. Like what? We have some prefixes here that we're going to talk about: re, an, des, m, and n. Of course, the prefixes change the meaning of a word. تغير لنا معنى الكلمة if we want to add any prefix. Like what? Look here, we have do and redo. Do to carry out an action. يفعل شيء معين. redo بعيد فعل هذا الشيء. إذن هون الprefix re أعطتني معنى الإعادة to carry out the action again. Like what? Another examples we have write, rewrite, write يكتب, rewrite يعيد كتابة. read, reread, read بمعنى يقرأ, reread يعيد قراءة. So re means to do the action again. This is the first prefix that changed the meaning of a word. Now we will talk about some prefixes that give us a negative meaning for the words. Like what? Look at this important topic. A negative prefix makes a word change its meaning to the opposite meaning. تعطينا معنى عكسي للكلمة الأصلية. You already know these negative prefixes. Like what? Un and this. We have usual, unusual. Usual بمعنى مألوف, unusual غير مألوف. So here the prefix un give us the opposite meaning of the root word اللي هي usual. We have another prefix. This is this. Disagree. Agree بمعنى يوافق. Disagree بمعنى غير موافق. So here agree and disagree are the opposite. Number 2, m and n prefixes are two more negative prefixes. So we talked about 4 negative prefixes. في عندي 4 prefixes بيعطوني negative meaning للكلمات an, des, m and n. Impossible. A truly natural habitat is impossible. Possible, impossible. Correct, incorrect. So here we added the prefix n to the word and it's changed the meaning of it. This is an example by using this word. The idea that we need zoos to learn about the animals is incorrect. خاطئة. Here we have another note. If the affirmative word begins with P, the negative prefix is usually M. يعني أي كلمة بتبدأ بحرف ال P أحيانا أو غالبا ده بالprefix M هي اللي بتعطيه معنى النيجاتيف أو بنضيف لها الprefix M to give the negative meaning. Now let's do this exercise. Read these words that use the negative prefixes m and n. Write the affirmative word next to each negative. So here we have the words with the prefixes m and n اللي بيعطونا negative meaning for the word. We want to write them with the affirmative form. Impatient بمعنى غير صبور. What is the affirmative form of it? Yes, patient. Imperfect, perfect. Impolite, polite. Invisible, visible, incredible, credible, and independent, dependent. Now, number 2, write the correct negative prefix N or M in front of these words. Possible, yes, impossible, we add the prefix M. Direct, indirect. Formal, informal. Probable, improbable. Suburban, yes, insuburban. Here we have a note. Don't get confused. Read these words and their opposites. Important, unimportant. Interested, uninterested. Here we have M and N لكنهم من أصل الكلمة. So these are not prefixes. هدول مش prefixes، هدول من أصل الكلمة. أصل الكلمة important. إذا بنعطيها negative meaning we add the prefix unimportant, interested, uninterested. As we see here, M or N at the start of a word is not always a negative prefix. ممكن تكون من أصل الكلمة نفسها. Now let's talk about the spelling. The first thing is the homophones. What are the homophones? Look at this note. Some words sound the same but they are spelled differently. These words are called homophones. إذا شو هم الهوموفونز؟ homophones هم الكلمات اللي إلهم نفس الصوت أو اللفظ the same pronunciation or the same sound لكن الspelling تاعهم مختلف طبعا والمعنى أكيد رح يختلف. Here we have some examples of homophones. These are homophones. Let's read them. Sauce, sauce. So here we have two words and these two words are homophones. Why? Because they have the same pronunciation but the spelling of them is different. السبيلنج تاعهم مختلف لكن إلهم نفس اللفظ أو الساوند. Number 2 roll, roll. allowed, allowed, allowed بمعنى مسموح, allowed بمعنى بصوت عالي. So هون لازم كمان نركز إنه معناهم مختلف. flow, flow. male, male. sure, sure. So these are the homophones, have the same sound but with different meaning and spelling. Now we want to talk about the sound ish. We have some words that have the sound sh, like what? Like specially and action. So here we have these two letters that have the sound sh, S-C-I and T-I with some words like specially. Specially, here we have C-I that sound with the sound sh, specially. It shouldn't be allowed, specially not for entertainment. And we have the T-I that sound with sound action, action, wide, life, in action. So you have to know that the words that have CI or TI have the sound sh. Now let's move to your workbook, page 68. We want to answer the questions in this page. Number 1, write the words next to the correct definition. Incredible, independent, impatient, impolite, invisible, imperfect. Incredible بمعنى لا يصدق أو غير معقول. Independent بمعنى مستقل. Impatient غير صبور. Impolite غير مؤدب. Invisible غير مرئي. Imperfect غير تام. Number 1, wanting things to happen at once. This is what? Yes, impatient. Number 2, unseen غير مرئي. Invisible. Number 3, surprising and difficult to believe. This is incredible. Number 4, having some errors or mistakes. Imperfect, rude, impolite. And number 6, not needing anyone to help you. This is independent. Move to question 3, spelling. Complete the sentences with the correct word in the box. Make any necessary changes. We have these words that we have read in exercise number 2 on your student's book, page 81. So we want to complete these sentences by using these words. The what polar bear was seen hunting on huge ice? Yes, the male polar bear was seen hunting on a huge ice floe. Number 2, the water was around the rocks and waves crashed. Crashed is verb past. Onto the, yes, here we want a verb and this verb in the past because this sentence is in the past. The water flowed around the rocks and waves crashed onto the excellent shore. Are you what? We are to eat all these delicious cheese. Are you sure we are allowed to eat all these delicious cheese what? Cheese rolls? Number 4, Jack is playing the what of the prince in the school play. Jack is playing the role of the prince, دور البرنس in the school play بمسرحية المدرسة. Number 5, when the what arrived, Ross opened his letter and read it. When the mail arrived, Rose opened his letter and read it. What? Yes, excellent. Aloud. قرأته بصوت عالي. Now the last question. Complete the words using CI or TI. Complete the sentences. So these letters have the sound sh, as we said. So we want to complete these words by using the correct letters CI or TI and complete the statements according to these words. Number 1 or A, this is what? This is precious. Yes, بمعنى ثمين with CI. Complete number B, initial في البداية. And we will complete it by adding TI. C, this is what? Optician. Optician with CI. D, ancient. E, patient. Now complete the statements. Number 1, Ben had to be examined by the what before he got his glasses. Examined بمعنى يفحص أو فحص by the, yes, excellent, optician. Number 2, there are some very what buildings in the row. Ancient buildings. Number 3, please be what and wait for your turn. The teacher told the children. Please be patient. كن صبور وانتظر دورك. Number 4, the what letter of a proper noun is always a capital. The initial letter. Number 5, gold and silver are both what? Yes, precious metals. So my students, by this question we finished our class for today. Be ready for the next class.